declare that carried. Thank you very much. Right, now we move to the public forum, and we're starting today with Mitch Shaw from Upstream New Zealand. Upstream New Zealand? Right, discussing it. Great. Thanks so much for coming along. As you're aware, this is a live streamed session,
Yeah.
So you'll be able to put it up online later, and you've got 5 minutes to give us an update about the work that you're doing.
Sounds good. Everyone hear me all right? Good. So my name is Mitch Shaw. Some of you guys I know quite well personally. And after previously spending the last 13 years actually as a youth worker in the southwest corner, working in Wigram Ward, we actually noticed there's a real funding crisis for charitable trusts around Christchurch. So we actually innovatively started Upstream. It was about 5 years ago. We thought of it. 4 years ago we launched. It's a social procurement platform for the city, which features over 100 local suppliers. And we also work closely with 18 charities. A lot of you guys would be actually funding through grant funding. For us, we're trying to target innovation around generating an income stream that doesn't exist before. And so our mission is actually focused on strengthening the well-being of children and young people. That's my background as youth work. We want to actually raise as much money as we can through a platform. It actually works when consumers and companies actually use our suppliers. So use our suppliers in our supply chain. It actually generates money because these suppliers are prepared to give a percentage out of a sale that they were prepared to give Google AdWords or some other source of marketing. Things like first aid training, fire extinguishers, cleaning, things like subcontractors and tradies. There's lots of stuff that companies go, oh yeah, we need this anyway. And actually using our supply chain that features a lot of that stuff has raised over $97,000 in the first 3 years that we've existed trading, which actually for us enables our charities to actually generate funding that actually hasn't existed before. A lot of them are focused on donations, grants, contracts, fundraising events, which have been hard post-COVID, and also business sponsorship. But what we've noticed is when revenue is really tight for businesses, they actually claw that budget back and say we can't help. So for us, what we've started doing to companies is adding value. So we kind of call it value fundraising because actually companies are wanting to see value and win-wins, and actually often charities coming in asking for a check or some free stuff, and actually it's just not the same language. So for us over the last 12 months, we've actually seen that 70% of our customers using our site is actually B2B, and businesses using our supply chain are actually starting to get greater value than just doing good. What we've started doing is actually generating impact reporting around sustainability measures. So the last 12 months we've just seen that actually councils wanting to see companies transition towards actually reporting sustainability outcomes and measurements. And what we've discovered is actually our software, so decision makings that companies can do in the software that we've created, it actually can track areas around carbon emissions, waste diversity, water management, diversity, keeping it local, using SMEs, supporting non-for-profits, social enterprises. We actually discovered we could actually help companies achieve greater outcomes than just generating money for charity. We could actually build a system that actually allowed them to explore what actions they could do in their supply chain and actually report on multifaceted parts of their goals that they're trying to achieve. Often companies find it actually quite full on to actually trying to do what they're trying to do around sustainability. They just say, oh, this is just another thing we have to do, and that's the feedback we get from them. What we try and do is actually stop them and go, hey, look, you have to respond to this, you want to respond to it, it just has to be easy, it actually has to be practical, and also it has to be actually quite affordable. Otherwise they're going to be going, this is going to cost us so much, and it takes us away from what we're passionate about. It's not that they don't want to do it, they just need an easier way. So that's what we're doing. We're helping companies actually stop and think about how they can guide through this in a more practical sense. So for us, we actually build a software we can say, what are we trying to achieve? What's the evidence of what you've done? And also, what are the outcomes and how can we improve that? And that's what we've launched over the last few months. So creating a sustainability plan enables companies to actually do greater good beyond just giving money for charity. And so for us, we just wanted a chance to be able to say two things. If you're working with companies that are going, I have no idea how to do this better, then we'd love to talk to them. Also, if you're actually wanting to understand how we could design a framework that the council could actually adopt around this stuff, we'd love to have a conversation as well. I've probably got 30 seconds for a question.
Is there anyone with a question? It's not. Do you have some extra information there in front of you for people?
Yeah, just a few things about what upstream stands for. But for me, if there's greater insights or someone go like, this is fascinating, in 5 minutes, it's a bit hard to go deeper. So
5 minutes isn't very long, but it's enough for a taster, which is really good.
Yeah.
And sorry, Anne, did you have one quick?
I just had a question. Thanks, Mitch. So just clarifying, so 97,000 over the last 3 years have gone into actually supporting services for young people.
Yep. So we're doubling every 3 months. So
that's fantastic.
48% of our sales this year are repeat sales from the last 3 years because our suppliers give a trail. They give a percentage that keeps going. So for us, it's sustainable fundraising, which is the key for our charities to focus on the good work they're doing and not focus on selling. We've got a wee team that enables them to keep that money going. So a lot of our money just is a wee snowball, which is good. So
that's great. And we'll make sure that your contact details and the information are in everyone's email box so that they can then forward them to other companies or charities that they know and those kind of things as well, so that we can help spread the word and build more sustainable
cool.
For everyone.
Awesome. Thanks for your time.
Thanks so much.
No worries.
Right, up next we have Paul Deacon from Disc Golf Incorporated.
Thank you.
They're all joined up, so you just need to make them all green at the same time. That's it. Thanks so much for coming along.
Thank you. Madam Mayor, Mr Deputy Mayor, Councillors, thanks very much for having me. I'm well aware your time is very precious, so I will try to be brief. My name is Paul Deacon, and I am the chairman of the Christchurch Disc Golf Club Incorporated. Why I'm here is because I present a lot to community boards. So far I've presented to 4 of them, several of them more than once, and no doubt in the near future I'll be talking to the other 3. Doing that made clear that our club has a need to present to the full council because we're doing something across the whole city. That's why I'm here. Our club, on the one hand, we're just a simple club, in other words, a membership association, but we're also obviously an incorporated society. But as of last year, we also became a registered charity of fairly modest size. I'm expecting our annual turnover to settle to something like $150,000 to $200,000. The disc golf is almost certainly the fastest growing sport in the world. We think we're getting about 6 new players a day in Christchurch. That's not unusual. The USA is getting over 5,000 new players a day. A snapshot of where we're at. Currently there's 3 courses in there are 3 full public courses in Christchurch and 2 private ones on private land, so for a total of 5. There are another 6 courses in Canterbury outside of Christchurch. We're currently engaged on fundraising and other work to install 6 courses, 5 of them in Christchurch and 1 in Ashburton. We're hoping that to get most of those courses into Christchurch before the year end. We operate under a 15-year plan which runs from 2019 to 2033. Under that plan we're hoping to get 4% of the population actively playing disc golf. Bear in mind the vast majority of those people will be playing no other sport. We are not pioneers at all. This has been done overseas. Finland, with a population of 5.6 million people, has 874 disc golf courses. If you scale that to Canterbury on a per capita basis, that would be 101 disc golf courses, but by 2033, with the rate at which the Canterbury population is increasing, it would be more like 150 courses. But I don't want to alarm you, our plan envisages something like 21 courses in the city of Christchurch. Features of disc golf what's different about disc golf compared to other sports and recreations. Motivation, people who play will freely admit that it's mildly addictive. So they're not thinking about, oh, I must get exercise. They're just itching to get out and play. It's an important feature. Who can play? Pretty much anybody from a few years old. 3, 4, 5 children can start playing. We have children playing in serious tournaments from as young as 7. Our oldest player in New Zealand is 81. He's in Invercargill. He plays pretty much every day, often with his grandsons. You don't need to be very fit. It's aerobic. It's low impact. Even people with disabilities can play. For example, some wheelchair-bound people can play. It's popular in the USA with disabled Army veterans. Low barriers to entry. It's very accessible. You can play once we get going, of course. You can play in a park near to where you live, work, or study. You don't have to book a time. You can just turn up and play. It's low cost. The only cost to the player is discs. You just wear normal casual clothing, training shoes, etc. Physically speaking, it's characterized by a wide range of motion, so it's up there close to something like swimming. It works practically every joint in the body, and it's also characterized as easy sport to learn, but it's difficult to master. It's characterized by constant skill acquisition, which in turn is good for cognitive health, especially for older folk, like myself. What are the benefits of disc golf? Well, the biggest obviously is community health. You're getting people exercising who otherwise wouldn't, so physical health. But it also is good for mental health. It relaxes people, gets them out in the open air. They start worrying about the flight of the disc and nothing else. I know 4 guys in the South Island who credit disc golf with turning their lives around from problems like depression. It's also good socially. A multi-generational activity. Parents can play with their children in the same group. It's unusual, and so 2 or 3 generations can play together. The designer of the game designed it to help reduce youth delinquency. It's something we hope to do in Christchurch. It's good for revitalising parks. We get good feedback from local residents. And last but not least, it improves personal safety in parks. I know of 3 incidents in the last 18 months in Jelly Park where disc golfers have actually intervened to stop or curtail physical assaults.
That's great.
And we get very positive feedback from local residents. They feel much safer because there are disc golfers in the park from dawn to dusk.
Paul, thank you so much for coming along.
Not at all.
It's clearly a growing sport that we're going to see a lot more of, and I know that you're working with our park staff on locations for future courses. So thank you for the work that you do, and I know that if anyone's got a question, they can flick it through to you.
Yes, please.
Or have a chat at another time. So thank you very much for coming along and presenting.
Not at all.